Hi, this is Gary Puckett. Woman, woman, go straight to the top of the charts.
Go straight to the top of the charts. Go straight to the top of the charts. From 10 to 1, you got a show #1 when you go straight to the top of the charts. Top of the charts, top of the charts. That song's gonna climb to the top. When you go straight to the top of the charts. When you go straight to the top of the charts. When you go straight to the top, right to the top. When you go straight to the top of the charts.
Gary Puckett, let me introduce you to go straight to the top of the charts, and we've got the sensational Sabine with us. Welcome, Gary.
Hey,
Nice
hey Gary. Welcome.
Hi,
It's a real pleasure to have you on the show.
well, thank you
Now,
very
Gary,
much.
we can't wait until you start touring and going live again. We just can't wait. What have you got coming up shortly? Will you be doing a tour like in the near future or playing live?
The pandemic has still got us locked down somewhat, but we've got a couple of dates in April that we're looking forward to because I haven't seen my boys for a long time, you know. So we've only done one date in a little over a year, so we're kind of itching to get back and play and sing and have some fun with the fans.
Can I ask you, Gary, where you'll be playing? You can give us a plug for April.
April on the 10th, we will be in Fort Myers, Florida at the Barbara Mann Center. And then on the 23rd, I believe, we'll be in Jefferson, Iowa at a casino called the Wild Rose.
Fantastic. Now, Gary, on this show, Sabine is going to tell you about your chart success. Have a listen to this coming in from the UK, the sensational Sabine.
Well, Gary, you know, who on earth? Everyone's heard of, you know, Young Girl. Who hasn't heard of that? That's just the most classic hit that you had. I mean, although your first single was Woman, Woman, and you know, it was a gold disc, wasn't it? And
Yes.
it came out in '67, and you know, #4 in the charts, and then Young Girl, which was '68. And got to #1 in the UK charts. So, hey, you know, mega, mega, mega. And then in '74, Young Girl was reissued. And you know, and that became a silver award, a silver record award. Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. It was called Revive 45s by the BBC. And I think Young Girl ended up in the, I don't know where it was exactly on that list, but somebody told me it was #1. I don't know about that, but
it was for 4 weeks.
Oh, very good.
So the thing
You
is,
also got to say, with your songs, Gary, you got to understand the big hits all over the world. Look, when you're looking at Lady Willpower, right? What a huge song here. And as I said, the Woman and the Young Girl, I need to know when you started, where did the first hit come from? How did that come together? Someone said to you, hey, we're going to do this song, or you said, I got a song. Tell me about the first massive hit.
Well, Woman was a song that my producer, Jerry Fuller, found. He had heard it by a group called Tom, Paul, and the Glazer Brothers. And they, a couple of the fellows in that band wrote that song. They recorded it in Nashville. It was a country record. Jerry Fuller heard it. He was kind of hoping to find somebody that he thought could sing it. He could have sung it. He's a great singer himself. But I just happened to stroll into his office with my portfolio, which showed me off with my band and our outfits. And he said, where can I see this band? So he came to see us. He loved it. And he said, I'm going to go get contracts together for you guys, and we'll be back and we'll sign, and then we'll go record this song, Woman, Have You Got Cheating on Your Mind?
Unbelievable. And also got to tell you, Gary Puckett and the Union Gap. Union Gap is actually a physical place, isn't it? You can tell me about that.
It is. I had grown up in the Yakima Valley in Washington State, and it was a great place to grow up because it was kind of small town living. I think it only had about 20,000 people. We were in the orchards, you know, and the lakes and the streams and high desert, and it's become very, very important wine country at this point. But when I was 15 years old, I used to hitchhike to Union Gap and do my Saturday job, which, you know, no big significance there, except the name itself came along when I was putting together the group that would become the Union Gap. And I was trying to think to myself, how can we be different than everybody else out there? You know, we need to wear something that's going to stop somebody and arrest their eyes and let them go, wow, that's cool. What is that? You know, and it was a February in, when was it? It was in February of '67 when I came up with the thought. We were working in Seattle, Washington, and it was cold and miserable, rainy. And I'm thinking to myself, how are we going to do this? What are we going to wear? And I thought of the Civil War, and I really loved that period of the U.S. history. So I chose the Civil War outfits for the North, and I went Union soldier. Ta-da, Union Gap. It just was automatic.
Brilliant.
Sabine.
Yeah, Gary, when were you last in the UK touring? We have these 60s tours, and we have the Swinging Blue Jeans, and we have all the guys, you know, from you know, British artists and American artists. When were you actually last in the UK?
I'm going to say it was maybe 17 or 18. I forget time anymore. The older I get, I lose track of time. We're kind of in discussions about me being back on the sensational 60s in October, November of 22.
Yeah, I do remember, because I'm a huge Monkees fan, and I've met Davey and Mickey back in the 80s. I got to know Davey quite well, actually. He's a very sweet guy. And so 1986, I went to their reunion tour because Davey invited me. He was at Godspell. We got chatting in the bar. Oh. And I was working on a new magazine, and he said, come to the rehearsals for the Albert Hall reunion gig. So I was sitting there with little Jessica. She was writing on my notepad. I still got her drawings.
Good.
And sweet guy. So, yeah, so 1986, the tour.
1986, the tour. That was, of course, the Monkees' 20-year reunion tour. And I was chosen to come on the tour with Herman's Hermits. They didn't have Peter Noon with them at the time. But the Hermits were a very good band. And we also had Rob Grill, who was the then surviving member of the Grassroots. So we had a good show, and we played to audiences all over the U.S. for 7 months. And it was the top tour of the year, if you recall. We played in stadiums, you know, so we were playing to 20, 30,000 people all the time. And it was the top tour. They set records for attendance and for merchandise sales.
Yes.
Gary, I've got to ask you, when you look back now, you got to understand, like 1967, I'm 9 years old. So, I mean, I know the songs, right? But I've got to ask you, what was it like in 67, 68, with that music explosion, and you're touring, and you're like the biggest thing? Because there's no one in the 60s I can say that sings a love song was so unique as yourself, or has a song where you listen to the first couple of notes and you know straight away it's you. It's like that is the essence of what you do. Like, anyone can write a hit, you know what I mean? But to be able to sing that hit and interpret that song like you do, there's nothing like it. I actually put you in such a unique place with your hits that it just doesn't exist. I'm being honest. The first time you start singing the notes, like I'll give you the example, Woman or Young Girl, just as soon as you hear the voice, you're sold on the song. And the song has, you haven't even gotten the song. That is the truth, Gary. You got the most unique sounding voice when it comes to a love song that your ears just open up. That is true.
I don't even know what to reply to that. I'm a lucky guy for that reason. It's a gift. God gave me the voice, and I just have to keep it healthy so I can keep out there with the fans singing the songs and all that stuff. And there were comparisons back in the day with people like B.J. Thomas, David Clayton Thomas, Johnny Mathis, you know, a couple of others. But I'm fortunate to have a signature voice, and I appreciate your input there.
As I said to you, there's a station on the radio, and I want everyone to listen, called ACU Radio, AUCC Radio, one word. Now, because it's 2021, the 1960s have come back again. I typed in the word bubblegum, Straightaway Woman, Woman's on, or Young Girls on. And I'm listening to it, and I just tell you, it just makes you so happy. You know, I don't want to talk about people that sing love songs, but when your songs came on in the radio, here in Australia, and I'm talking AM, that's what we had. We only had AM radio stations. Right. It was like you listened to it in mono, and still it was like unbelievable. It's just like I can't tell you, Gary, because as I said to you, I had women carrying. I remember women carrying your albums around, and they're so big to parties and that, and like it's all Gary Puckett and the Union Gap Mania. It's like it's true.
Well, gosh, you know, once again, I don't know what to reply. I hope I don't let anybody down. We're scheduled to come and see you guys for 4 weeks in 22 in February. So we will I'm going to look forward to seeing you. Okay.
Me too, Gary. I'm going to try and dig up a couple of albums and get some signatures from you.
All right, well, let's get on your program too, and you know, talk live on the air. And Sabine, I don't suppose you'll be there, but you know, you're invited if you want to come.
Wild horses, wild horses. You know.
You go. We're going to say, Gary, before you come to Australia, we're going to do another interview so we can tell everyone about the dates and everything. No problem. Sure. Just let me know. Can't wait. You know, as I said, when you look back on your career, and I'm talking the height, right, where these songs are coming out left, right, and center, and you're killing the charts. Like, I mean, to be number one, as I said, it's like any dream of any person. But just tell me, when the song got to number one, what was that feeling like? Like I asked Ron Dainty, what was it like? You're 19 years old, and Sugar Sugar is the biggest thing in the world. And now I ask you, Gary, when your song went to number one and it's the biggest thing in the world, what was that feeling?
I don't know if I can describe that feeling. It was overwhelming. It was satisfying. It was an amazing, gosh, how did we ever do this? And yet, you know, it was just one of those things where you go, I can't believe it, but it's happened. So here we are, and let's go have fun with it.
Yeah. So Gary, when you know, if you do look back at your footage, like, I mean, I looked at the footage on YouTube earlier, and you know, it's all in black and white, and so you know, the mood is there. You know, it's great. And but when you look back at that, how do you feel, and what do you remember actually? Are there anything special memories or any special highlights or anything from that time? What do you really remember about that period?
Well, that's a pretty broad question there, Sabine. But I remember being backstage, for instance, at the Ed Sullivan Show, and my manager was there, the band was there, and my manager was dating, more than dating. They were, I think, living together at the time, an actress by the name of Karen Black. And Karen and I became good friends through our manager's relationship with us. And she was one wacky person and a great actress, and was willing to display her talents anywhere she was. And so we went to a restaurant on Ventura Boulevard a little bit later, and we're sitting with Peter and with Karen, and somebody brought up the movie Planet of the Apes. And she started doing her ape impression in the booth right there with her arm over the side, and the people in the restaurant were laughing and carrying it on. I remember things like that, you know, just nutty things. I remember doing a concert at the Yale Bowl with the association, and it was a beautiful night. There were 12,000 people in the stadium, and we were down on the field in front of the audience just playing Frisbee to pass the time. So things of that, like, it'll come up in my mind.
The 60s.
Well, I mean, we went from Gary Puckett and then we're going into the free hippie thing. You know what I mean? It's like unbelievable. You were there at the right time. And let me tell you, Gary, when they used to call you in the record company and said, Gary, you're a number one here, you're a number one there, you've sold this much, you've sold that much. I mean, you know, we're talking vinyl, where people went to parties and got the needle and played it. You know, so like now, I'm an MP3 man. I remember, this is good for you to know, right? First album I bought was the Monkees, right? The first album that came out here in 1960, into 66, and I went to parties and it was bigger than my head, and I didn't have a record player. I mean, you know, that's what it is.
I see quite a few of those long-playing albums now. When we go out on the road, people bring them to have me sign them, and I'm glad to see that they're still listening to those plastic pieces.
Oh.
Yeah, but let me tell you, Gary, have you ever had someone come up to you with either a single or an EP or an album, and they show it to you and you say, can you sign it, Gary? And you think to yourself, I haven't seen that for a while. I've never seen that cover, because it's gone all over the world. There must be some records that you physically haven't seen before.
Well, every once in a while I'm shown something that I haven't seen, and a lot of times it's because companies decide that they want to release some of our recordings, so they will go and license them from CBS, and I'll see something new. Also, I will see records from other countries. Mexico comes up quite often. And I've seen them from all over the world. So it's kind of fun to see that. I usually try to talk the fans out of them so I can take them home and put them in my collection.
Well, I have a huge collection of vinyl. You would not believe. Behind me, yeah. I have a music corner.
Mm-hmm. See? Oh, yeah.
Right.
Good for you.
And there's a picture of John Iden there. Cool guy.
Now, I've got to say, Gary, you got a few gold records in the cupboard or out in the wall. Where's your gold records?
They are actually out in the other room. They're in our kind of office out there, and they're displayed nicely. They are so old now that the labels are getting faded from, you know, the daylight and all that kind of stuff. And I'm trying to think of a way to refurbish them so they look brand spanking new again. But people are always impressed when they come in and see those. So I'm proud to display them.
I've heard some stories where some people have received gold records, scratched it back, and it's a different record, and tried to play them, and it's not their record. That is hilarious.
Well, let's see, who was it? I think it was Tommy James that told me he had a gold record for Moni Moni or one of those, and actually the record was Julie London singing something or other, and so I thought that was pretty amazing.
Imagine if you played and it was like Gidget from Flying Nun or something, one of those variety TV albums.
So you must have a massive fan base out there, obviously, where the fans interact quite a bit. You know, are there events over there that you can do Q&A, that sort of thing? Have you done that? I mean, obviously not the last 2 years because nothing's been going on.
Well, I've been doing quite a few podcasts and things of that nature, you know, and you know, be lucky to do stuff like this right here today and say hello to the fans and let them know that I'm anxious to get out there with them. So that's the important thing. We have a fan page. It's the Gary Puckett and the Union Gap
I've seen that one.
Original fan page. So we post things from time to time, and you know, if you guys haven't seen it already, I'd like to do a shout out and just tell everybody to put their prayers together for B.J. Thomas. He's been a friend for years, and he apparently has announced that he has stage 4 lung cancer. So please tell all the fans to pray.
We love B.J.
Yeah,
absolutely. So I was stunned to hear that the other day, but anyway, I didn't mean to bring up something so sad.
No, that's fine, Gary. We're big fans. I mean, teardrops are falling on my head. Raindrops are falling on my head. What a song.
Yeah.
Now, Gary, I want you to tell everybody if there's any other links or any new music now that you got out or what you'd like to do, let's say from here on in. I know you want to play live, but just tell anybody if there's any other links they can find you on or some of your music.
Well, GaryPuckettMusic.com. Of course, don't forget the www. I have a couple of albums that are really pretty cool. One I call Love Songs, and they're all songs from the 80s. Great love songs from Journey, from Whitesnake, from Foreigner, from Heart. You know, really good stuff. And it's a very good album. I'm proud of it. I would like all the fans to pick up a copy of that. And we've also got another one there now called Essentials. And it's a bunch of things that I recorded in, I don't know, the 70s and 80s. And it's a terrific album, you know, things like I Am, I Said by Neil Diamond and that kind of stuff. So, and I will be glad if they request it to personalize it for them. So please.
Well, I'm waiting for you to come to Australia. I've got my pen ready. I'm ready to come. I'll come and shake your hands and tell you you're one of the greatest singers that's out there. It's like, you know, this is what I love. We'll finish the interview and I'll go listen to Accu Radio and I'll start listening to your hits. And while I'm painting or doing something on my house, I'm singing around the house. I mean, this is what makes it. You bring so much happiness.
Yeah,
like, you really do.
Thank you.
People like yourself just have got no idea how the world is such a happier place from everything that you've done. Like, seriously. Like, for me, Gary, you know, my favorite song is Young Girl. It really is. It's so much that song is inside me that even though I'm a big Monkeys fan and Archies fan and whatever fan I am, Beatles fan, it's still Young Girl that I'm the one listening to in the car going, young girl, get out of my life, right? While I'm driving along the car. You got no idea. So, Gary, I'm just going to ask you, please, if you could just sing a couple of lines of Young Girl just for me. I've got to hear it.
Young girl, get out of my mind. My love for you is where I line. Better run, girl. You're much too young, girl.
Whoa.
Gary, I've got to say, you still got it. You still got it, Gary. One of the greatest singers that ever came out with one of the most unique voices. And let me tell you, we got a few texts here, right? If you can read these out, Sabine, if you can keep up with them.
Okay, I'll have a go. Oh, Shani. Hi, Shani, my good friend. Hi, everyone. Judy asked talk about nostalgia. Okay. Judy again, you are so right, Plastic.
Cool.
Judy again, how can we know about tour dates?
www.GaryPuckettMusic.com. We have a tour page there along with everything else. We will post all of the Australian dates that are coming up in February of 22 as soon as we know what they are.
And then I'll know and we'll do another interview and we'll tell the world because they all need to come down to Australia to see you.
You got it.
Shani, great interview. Thanks, Shani. And George A. Libretti. Hi, Gary. I hope you make your way back to Connecticut at some point.
Well, I hope so, too.
David, I can't read his surname. I saw Gary Puckett and the Union Gap at Disneyland in 1967.
That's when we were on the, what stage was that? Not Tomorrowland. Anyway, it was a stage that was in the ground. And as we played our first song, the stage came up out of the ground and it was louder than all get out in there. But it was a lot of fun. The fans were all standing around waiting for us. So Disneyland, yes.
Wow. Shani. Brilliant, Gary. 2 kisses.
Thank you.
Judy again. Will you be going to England and Europe?
I don't know about Europe at this point, but I think that England will be on the plate for late in 22.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Gary Puckett, one of the greatest music greats out there. You know we love you, Plastic EP and Sabine. We love you so much that, you know, I just can't fathom your fantastic career. And I want everyone to go on the website, Facebook, everywhere. Check out and keep in touch with what Gary's doing because the guy is just the greatest. And as I said, I love these texts. They always tend to come in.
Oh, Judy, great.
Right.
3 exclamation marks.
Judy.
Well, I'd just like to say on behalf of Go Straight to the Charts, that #1 feeling has come back in 2021 because you make everybody so happy. And it's like the greatest love songs of all time is Gary Puckett and the Union Gap. Make no mistake. Stay there for a moment, Gary, and I just want to thank you on behalf of myself and the sensational Sabine.
My pleasure, Plastic. You too, Sabine. Nice meeting you on the air here.
Thank you, Gary.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks so much, Gary.
See everybody till the next episode of Go Straight to the Top of the Charts. Let me say, young girl, my voice is getting Gary.